If you've ever stood in line at airport immigration feeling nervous about what officers might ask you, you're not alone. For many travelers, customs and immigration can feel more stressful than the flight itself. One wrong answer, hesitation, or missing document can lead to delays, extra screening, or even denied entry in some cases. But the truth is, most airport questions are routine. Immigration officers are mainly trying to confirm who you are, why you're visiting, how long you'll stay, and whether your story matches your travel documents. In today's video, we're breaking down the most common customs and immigration questions travelers face at international airports, how to answer confidently, and the mistakes that instantly raise red flags. Whether you're flying for vacation, business, family visits, or your very first international trip, this guide could make your airport experience smoother and far less stressful. The first question immigration officers commonly ask is simple, but extremely important. What is the purpose of your visit? This is often the very first thing an officer asks after checking your passport. They want to know why you're entering the country. Your answer needs to match your visa type, your travel documents, and your itinerary. If you're traveling for tourism, say tourism or vacation. If you're attending a business meeting, say business meeting or conference. If you're visiting family, explain that clearly. The key is to answer honestly and directly without giving a long, complicated explanation. For example, if you're visiting Canada for sightseeing, a clear answer would be, I'm here for a 2-week vacation visiting Edmonton and Banff. A weak answer would be, just traveling around for a bit, maybe seeing friends too. Vague answers can make officers suspicious because they're trained to notice inconsistencies and uncertainty. Another very common question is, how long are you staying? Immigration officers want to confirm your planned stay matches your return ticket and visa conditions. You should know your departure date before you land. A confident traveler might say, I'll be staying for 10 days and flying home on June 14th. If you don't know your return date or your answer doesn't match your itinerary, it can trigger additional questioning. This is especially important for countries that closely monitor overstays. Officers often want reassurance that travelers intend to leave before their permitted stay expires. The next question catches many travelers off guard. Where are you staying? Officers usually expect a specific answer, not just a hotel somewhere downtown. You should know at least the name of your hotel, hostel, Airbnb, or the address of the person you're visiting. Many experienced travelers save their accommodation details on their phone or keep printed copies in a travel folder. Imagine arriving after a 12-hour flight and suddenly forgetting your hotel name. That uncertainty alone can make the interaction awkward and stressful. A prepared traveler sounds calm and organized. I'm staying at the Marriott downtown near the airport. Or, I'm staying with my cousin at this address. Being organized instantly creates a better impression. Another major question is, do you have a return ticket? This is one of the biggest indicators immigration officers use to determine whether a visitor plans to leave the country. In many countries, travelers entering on tourist visas are expected to show proof of onward travel. If you don't have a return ticket, officers may wonder whether you plan to overstay or work illegally. Budget travelers sometimes make the mistake of booking one-way tickets without understanding how suspicious that can appear. Even if you're planning flexible travel, it's smart to have proof of onward transportation ready. Another question that surprises first-time travelers is, how much money are you carrying? Immigration officers may want to confirm you can financially support yourself during your trip. This doesn't necessarily mean carrying large amounts of cash. In fact, carrying too much cash can also trigger questions. Officers may ask for proof of funds through bank apps, credit cards, hotel reservations, or travel budgets. For example, I have credit cards, cash, and enough funds for my stay. Simple and clear. If someone cannot explain how they plan to pay for accommodations, food, or transportation, officers may become concerned. Now let's talk about a question many travelers fear. Have you visited this country before? This may seem harmless, but officers are often checking your travel history. Immigration systems track entries, exits, overstays, visa violations, and previous inspections. Frequent international travelers usually answer quickly because their records already appear in the system once the passport is scanned. Some airport systems automatically review travel history and flag concerns before you even reach the counter. If you previously overstayed a visa or violated immigration rules somewhere, officers may ask follow-up questions. This is why honesty matters. Trying to hide previous visits or giving inconsistent answers can create bigger problems than the original issue itself. Another common airport question is, what do you do for work? This question helps officers determine whether your travel purpose makes sense financially and logically. For example, if someone says they're taking a 6-month vacation but cannot explain how they afford it, officers may become suspicious. You don't need to give a long explanation. A short, clear answer works best. I'm a teacher. I work in construction. I'm a university student. Simple answers usually work better than over-explaining. Now here's a question that can become very serious. Are you carrying anything to declare? This is customs, not immigration. Customs officers focus on what you're bringing into the country. Different countries restrict items like fresh food, plants, animal products, large amounts of cash, alcohol, tobacco, and certain medications. Failing to declare restricted items can result in fines, confiscation, or additional inspections. Many travelers accidentally get into trouble because they forget snacks, fruit, or agricultural products packed in their carry-on luggage. Something as small as an undeclared apple or sandwich has caused travelers to receive fines in certain countries. Always check customs rules before flying internationally. Another question travelers often hear is, are you traveling alone? Officers sometimes ask this to compare your answer against passenger records or identify unusual travel patterns. If you're traveling with friends or family, answer clearly. If you split up in line, make sure your answers are consistent. Border officers often compare travelers' responses to spot inconsistencies. Even small contradictions can lead to secondary screening. One of the biggest mistakes travelers make is becoming overly nervous during questioning. Here's the reality. Immigration officers talk to thousands of passengers every week. They're trained to notice unusual behavior, inconsistent answers, hesitation, or signs someone may be hiding information. That doesn't mean nervous travelers automatically get denied entry. Airports are stressful for almost everyone, but preparation helps reduce that stress dramatically. Travelers who know their hotel information, return date, itinerary, and travel purpose usually move through immigration much faster. Another mistake is joking with officers. Airport security and border control are not the place for sarcasm or humor about illegal items, overstaying visas, fake passports, or suspicious luggage. Even harmless jokes can create major delays because officers are required to take comments seriously. Experienced travelers usually keep conversations respectful, short, and professional. Now let's talk about secondary inspection, because this is where many travelers panic unnecessarily. Sometimes travelers are sent to another room or separate area for additional questioning. This does not automatically mean you're in trouble. Secondary screening can happen for many reasons. Random checks, incomplete paperwork, travel history, visa questions, name similarities, system alerts, or simply because officers want more information. In some airports, automated systems flag travelers before they even reach the desk. The worst thing you can do during secondary inspection is become argumentative or aggressive. Most travelers who cooperate calmly eventually continue their trip without major issues. Another smart travel habit is keeping important documents easy to access. Experienced international travelers often keep passport, boarding pass, hotel reservation, return ticket, travel insurance, visa documents, and emergency contacts all together in one folder or phone app. Nothing slows down an airport line faster than someone searching through bags for 5 minutes while officers wait. Preparation makes a huge difference. And finally, remember this. Customs and immigration officers are not expecting perfection. They mainly want honest, consistent answers that match your documents and travel plans. The more organized, calm, and prepared you appear, the smoother the process usually becomes. International travel can already feel exhausting after long flights, jet lag, crowded terminals, and security checks. But understanding these common immigration questions before you land can remove a huge amount of stress from your journey. So before your next international trip, Ask yourself, do you know your hotel address, your return date, your itinerary, your visa rules, and what items you must declare? Because sometimes the difference between a smooth airport arrival and hours of delays comes down to preparation. And if you've ever had a stressful customs or immigration experience while traveling internationally, what happened? That's something almost every frequent traveler remembers.